you guys? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, back with another One Piece chapter review. This time it's for chapter 37, and this chapter had some different things going on with it. I didn't mind it though. You know, we got the flashback with Captain Kuro. That was nice, but I kind of wasn't expecting it. I thought the transition was a little rough, because this started off as a very action-heavy chapter. We see Kuro and Luffy just kind of going at it, and there's some really cool shots drawn in this chapter. We see Luffy using the Gum Gum Whip and the Gum Gum Pistol. I mean, they're really getting at it. I want to show you this shot right here, right? I messed around and set my volume down. But just right here, right? Like, we see Captain Kuro, Luffy's got his arms tied up, right? And it makes sense, because if he can restrict those arms, then Kuro can't use those legs. But if you look in the left panel, Kuro's face is completely calm. It's calculated. And it fits the chapter, because the chapter is called Captain Kuro of 1,000 Plans. And just right there, like, that's how you know you're dealing with the upper level antagonist, because even though he's facing somebody who's probably stronger than him and has abilities that he has an idea of, but he's not completely sure of, he's completely calm. And that's huge, to not break under pressure. That's how you know that he was a pirate captain, because the thing about being in any type of leadership position, you have to stay calm under duress. You have to be able to continually assess the situation, because it doesn't matter how great your plans are if you can't take into account the situation at hand. And that's what Kuro's doing at this point. At a certain point in this fight, he actually gets the upper hand on Luffy. And this panel right here definitely reminded me of the Saiyan saga when Goku jumped on top of Nappa's head. And just the way that Kuro is looking at him, he's saying, "You bore me, boy." We know Kuro was fast, because if I'm not mistaken, when Luffy was trying to hit him before, he couldn't keep track of Kuro. I have to go back and read, so I'm not all the way sure on that. But just on this, we see Kuro's speed, because you see like the whoosh, and he's running, and you see Luffy, like Luffy is looking a little shocked. And Kuro actually lands a pretty good shot on him when he kicks him in the head. But just there, it's just like Luffy, you know, he's got the stretching arms, and I already see a weakness with those. I'll get that in a second. But he's got the stretching arms, and he's clearly strong, because he picks up a boulder and breaks Captain Kuro's claws. So this is what Kuro has the advantage on. However, he has another advantage, and I'm waiting for an enemy to really get Luffy at this point. Luffy, when he stretches those arms and he stretches his legs, all of this, like the chest, the torso, all that is open for attack. If you're going to fight somebody like Luffy, the best time to attack him is when he's using his gum techniques and he's got his attention focused on somebody else. You have to attack him in a team. That's what I'm thinking. The only thing about that is when he fought with Captain Buggy, and Buggy fired one of those Buggy balls, Luffy's body expanded. He used the Gum balloon. So I don't know. I'm guessing his body is durable enough that you would need some type of special technique in order to pierce him, because I don't recall anybody hitting Luffy in the torso and in the chest area and making him bleed. So I'm really wondering how that's going to play out, because that's a major glaring weakness, and I don't think anybody's tried to go for it. I think with the way Captain Kuro is, with how calculated he is, he's going to notice that, and he's going to go for that. But getting into this flashback, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like I said, the transition was a little off, because the fight was really interesting. And just to have this flashback kind of just put right into it, it kind of took us out for a little bit. And when it comes to mangas like this, I really feel like you have to read them a volume at a time instead of chapter by chapter, which is a great thing I have a volume that I can do that. But when you go chapter by chapter and the mangaka pulls the scope back, what I mean by pulls the scope back is take the attention off of what's going on and draw back to either slow down the pacing or to focus on the broader story, it really disrupts the reader. And in this case, I really felt like this for this part of the chapter. But like I said, I enjoyed the backstory, seeing how Kuro basically went onto the ship and got his Itachi on. He got onto the the Navy ship, and he went straight Itachi Uchiha right here. Look at that massacre, man. Like that's the right sound effect word, doom, because some of these dudes, like, they're bloodied up, like, God, dog, like Kuro, and he's sitting there looking out at the moon, and it's the exact same shot of Itachi standing over the Hidden Leafs Uchiha village section, because Itachi is got his back to the moon, and Kuro's facing the moon. Well, hell, it looks like he's facing the moon, and he's standing over the wreckage. Very, very good, man. I really love that, and I'm looking at the chapter for this. I'm wondering if Kishimoto didn't pull some of that from One Piece in order to do the Itachi scene. I know that Kishimoto and Oda have both talked about how when a chapter comes out, they borrow ideas from each other because they're in competition to go one up. So I thought that was really cool just to see that. But, you know, Kuro breaks it down. He's just like, look, Django hypnotized this dude and made him believe he's Captain Kuro. I sent him off to die, and I had him hypnotize another guy to say that he captured Captain Kuro. After I get the money, I'm bouncing. Very smart plan. It's really smart. You got to give him that. It's very deceitful, but it's very smart. So, I mean, I enjoyed that. And, you know, basically, you know, Kuro says this is all part of my plan. And Luffy, obviously, is about to go into the whole spiel about being king of the pirates. Because he's just like, I have even bigger plans. And that's how chapter ends off. It was a pretty, overall, I would give this a pretty cool chapter. I would say that this is maybe a 7 out of 10. Like I said, like the chapter, it really pulled me out with the flashback. It was very good. You know, once I get caught up in the anime and I'm able to watch this, maybe I'll change my tune on that. But man, that's it for this review. My chapter question for you guys is, what did you think about Kuro's plan? How did you feel about Kuro basically sending off another man to die in this place so he could carry out this plan? But that's it. If you liked anything I had to say, make sure you comment, rate, subscribe, and share. I greatly appreciate it, guys. That's it. Thanks.